Based on an exchange on the System Dynamics mailing list once upon a time, I know it sounds like a fairy tale, right? Regarding the current level of acceptance of System Dynamics after it had been promoted for over 40 years, I dredged up the following set of influences as a thought exercise, and I thought I'd go ahead and share the structure with you that I sort of pieced together. I begin with a balancing loop whereby there's a desired level of acceptance of system dynamics and there's an actual level of system dynamics. The difference between the two of those creates an acceptance gap, and that gap should in fact promote actions to solve real problems, which promotes further more understanding on the part of people about the value of system dynamics, which should increase the actual acceptance of system dynamics, therefore reducing the gap. The difficulty being that actions to solve real problems take time, and developing understanding takes time, and the acceptance takes time. So this is a long-term undertaking, and because it's a long-term undertaking, and at the same time that is happening, there is in fact another balancing loop that is in effect, and that is the actual acceptance of SD interacting with the desired acceptance of SD, which creates this acceptance gap. That gap, at the same time it was promoting actions to solve real problems, is also promoting questions on the part of system dynamics people about the viability of SD. So that in response to that, they expend more internal effort in the community ensuring the validity of SD, and if this in fact lasts for a protracted period of time, it has a tendency to actually decrease the desired acceptance of SD, and by decreasing the desired acceptance of SD, it would in fact reduce this gap, and it is in fact the gap which is extremely uncomfortable that the balancing loops attempt to diminish. And the easiest way to get rid of the gap really is to make the desired level of acceptance equal to the actual level, and then there is no gap, and nobody needs to do anything. But part of this which is really annoying is that this internal focus on the SD community in fact detracts from efforts or actions to solve real problems, and what you end up with is this relationship that exists here actually causes the establishment of a vicious reinforcing cycle whereby the actions to more internal SD community focus detracts from the actions to solve real problems, therefore diminishing the extent to which the understanding of SD develops, diminishing the actual acceptance of SD. Therefore, the gap isn't in fact getting smaller, which then doesn't diminish the questions about the viability and more community focus, so that this is in fact a vicious reinforcing loop which continues to move things in the opposite direction that the organization or that the SD community really wants things to go. And as it turns out, this structure is actually an example of a Drifting Goals Systems Archetype, whereby because of the period of time that it takes to pursue the real intended goal, there are other actions taken which actually act to diminish the goal itself. It's the same thing that gets in the way of us actually attaining our New Year's resolutions, or what's the comment about the road to hell is paved with good intentions. And the problem is that it takes time for us to in fact pursue those good intentions, and we have difficulty dealing with the tension created by the gap that exists between where things are and where we want them to be. So I just thought I'd offer you this in case it might be informative. So see you in the next video. Bye.